Yeah, it's such an crazy. It's like time goes very slow when you're nursing a dog back to health because
Yeah.
it's so hands-on. They just
Yes.
don't know. Like they
No,
just like
no. It's
at
and they're
all.
always yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if we had to wear cones?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it would be. It would be really funny. And to some extent, there's probably situations where we should.
We should be putting people in cones. Sorry,
Yeah,
you're a hazard to yourself.
yeah. And put you in this, just give you the soft cone though, so you don't run into walls. But yeah, that would
Right.
be funny. And I could
That
see it.
is
I
funny when
mean,
they hit the wall.
oh
Well,
my God.
Josh, look, I know just to kind of get running and first off, appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. And like I said, I'm doing a little bit of discovery and just been talking to some founders and people who've had an interesting journey on just kind of the idea of God, what I wish I knew, and kind of getting your insights of your journey and being able to kind of put that into one learning about you, and then also just sharing the story a bit more. And then it's something I'm trying to put together for a little book down the road. But what I love, and I've already done a little bit of digging on you because we've been talking for a little bit, and but through you and AI, and comes back with some interesting things, right? One, you're a gaucho, which we talked about, go Santa
Yep.
Barbara, and but your journey it's been interesting because you were a principal at J9 Capital, right?
Okay. Yep.
2012, and then you had a couple of stints, I think, working at like PayScout and Merchant National and payment processing, and then
Yeah.
you decided in 2017 to start your own company.
Yes. So it's funny because there's a few things missing. So I
Okay.
removed those, I think, the Pay Scout and
Yeah.
Merchant National one from my LinkedIn. And the reason is I found that if you do that, you get less spam on LinkedIn, but that doesn't hold true anymore
Yeah.
because it just found a new way to
Oh
do it.
no.
Like my inboxes like completely disappeared for a time after I did it. But there was another business in there that I never had put on LinkedIn,
Okay.
which is also in like even online. It was like my main source of income for so long. So
Okay.
which is
But yeah,
super
tell
weird.
the story of like, I guess what I'd love to know is, yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit of the fill in the gaps, but then what's the point where you're like, I can do this better. I can be a founder. What was that point like? Or what pushed you into going, I'm going to start my own business?
The whole thing was just me wanting ownership over what
Okay.
the impact I was making.
Yeah.
Always. That was it. I always wanted to own what I was building or what I was doing.
Okay.
And what I was doing, no matter where, was always what I thought was the best for
Okay.
that moment in time. Right. Like
Yeah.
for myself, for the world, for whatever it was, like that was the best it was going to be done. And I wanted to be able to own uh those decisions, and that is like that's the foundation. Like I've always worked for myself realistically, even with PayScout Merchant National.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
early on, you've always had the mindset of you were going to be doing something and you were going to lead it.
yeah, I just didn't know what that even meant
Yeah.
at all.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
No, what's it mean to run a business, and what do you
yeah,
what do you don't know before you know, and which probably makes it easier to just get into something.
it
Um,
does. It makes it much easier to get into something. Ignorance is bliss.
oh,
To
totally, right. And
Yes.
you figure it out. So what was that first? Yeah, there's a good story here, right? Because you did Revanly,
Uh-huh.
and now you're at Tratta.
Uh-huh.
And so tell that journey, because was it smooth and you made a gajillion dollars and you're just now running your new company just because it's fun?
No, so I wish.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
but so the entity behind Tratta is the same one that was behind Revanly. So same
Okay.
same legal entity, different structure now. But um, Revanly was essentially iteration number one
Okay.
of you know the first attempt at me building a SaaS platform, and I didn't even know. what SaaS meant or stood for. I just was like, we're going to build a software company, and like, oh, you're building a SaaS platform. I had no idea, right? So like,
And that one.
okay, yeah, cool. Sounds cool. Sounds catchy.
Yeah.
What does it stand for? And so then, right, it was just to solve the problem that was in front of me, and like I thought that it was just going to take off. I thought that it was going to be built for $40,000 total.
Yep.
I thought, like it was just going to work. And many years later, 5 customers, no scaling, and severely in debt with personally guaranteed debt of everything. I was like, okay, this is definitely not working. And I knew that a long time ago. And so there was this decision point of let this like ride off into the sunset and hopefully make my money back and go back to what I know how to do, which is merchant service sales. Like that was like something I always found success in, but I did not want to do that or Hail Mary it and start over completely.
Yeah.
And see where that goes. And I kind of just like thought about it, and it was like, well, I definitely don't want to go backwards. And what do I have to lose if I go forward and try again? And so I did that. And
what were some of the big lessons that you took from the first part of I'm just going to create a software company that you took into your second venture?
One, solve real problems.
Okay.
Like first, like get the biggest problems, the barrier of entry out of the way. And that's something I could never have learned without the first one. Like had Tratta been successful, I would have had Tratta been successful like right out of the gate, and I didn't do Revanly.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure I would have come across some major stumbling blocks later. But we actually built the platform, what I like to call backwards. We built the admin side first, where we didn't build any customer facing anything first. We built everything to make everyone in the back office, specifically accounting and bookkeeping and like the finance team, happy so that they can like reconcile the money and just be done with it. Like that was the first thing. You would never build, if you're building customer portal and then you say like, let's start
with we'll build the admin stuff later.
Yeah, right. Like that was the first big lesson. That was the first product lesson. I take that back.
Yes.
The other one, have a team who is all in, or at least one person on that team, right? You just need one person on that team because I'm not technical. So a technical founder who can read your mind. And I say that like somewhat jokingly, but not in the sense where I teamed up with somebody who understood what needed to be done with explanation.
Yeah.
But like they could also execute very well. I didn't know what I had, of course, until the team grew. I did know I had someone very special, but as the Tratta team grew, I even knew they were even more special because they could lead a team. Plus they were that good, and their team like has zero like turnover because they all love the person, this. So that was the other big lesson, that without someone who can see the vision and help you execute on it, and who says no more times than they say yes.
Okay.
A founder who's trying to like you try to always like get your footing and starting up, having someone who can say no is like really important, because as you're a founder, you're trying to always get your footing. And so so having that's like super important. That to me was like really important. Like it's just the infrastructure. This is why Revanly, it was so hard for it to scale, was the infrastructure, like the actual platform was hard to scale. The market, it was a little early, yes, but and my pitch wasn't that great back then, blah blah blah. But
did you have the same technical partnership in the first? Okay, so that your CTO came with the second.
Yes, and I didn't know anything, and it was a very difficult time when I said something is wrong with this software, and I had a outside company come in and audit the software, and they were like, usually they're like, hey, we're gonna put in like 15 hours, 20 hours to audit this, and like after 6 or 7 hours, they like on a Sunday, they were like, stop everything you're doing with that other entity, like this is not good. And they were like, we've never done this before, and they wrote me like a multi-page report, and they were like screw the features, screw this, like it's just not stable.
Yeah.
And that's why you're having all these problems. And so they actually came in and stabilized it. And so again, it spent like 8 months stabilizing, which is an incredible amount of time and money just to make this so that I could sleep at night without something happening.
Yeah.
But because this is not even expansion on the product at all.
Yeah.
And so
This
then
was just foundational stuff,
foundational
which
stuff.
is interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people got excited about vibe coding. I mean, even me, and building applications, and then they're finding that there's so much tech debt behind the scenes because they don't know, and they're trusting the AI agents to build these foundations. And then you come back and you're like, man, security, governance, actual scalability of the product, the data structure.
So you know what's funny about that is like the first product, Revanly, we designed we did the design, the workflows, this, that, like the whole design, like the whole thing took whatever long. And then with Tratta, it was just like, whatever the default framework is, just like start putting something up, like whatever, like make it look like a spreadsheet. Who cares? Like,
but make it work to solve the problem.
Work. Yeah. And of course, we're still like, even that core piece of the business still needs to be updated, and it like has but hasn't. Like it's now going forward, it could be so much efficient. And the funny thing is like those first 3 clients who we got, which took 2 years on Tratta to get the first 3 big clients, they were transformative in themselves.
Yeah.
Because they were a different caliber of client than the 5 that were on Revanly. But that product, looking back on Tratta as a product, I'm like, wow, that was one ugly platform. And like I would never be able to sell that today with like the millions of little things that we get asked for or that we've been asked for and built that didn't exist. Bare bones, terrible this, but like it got reporting in, out, took the payment, and it destroyed what these companies had previously used and came off of. So like our minimal viable product, I thought was like the best thing in the world. But looking back on it, I'm like, oh, wow, that was like embarrassing. And so that again, like that, I guess that shows like the vision part of like the team, and the sense that we can continue to move together and like we're transforming our own business, and that's important.
Yeah, no, and I think a couple of things here. I think just from, I guess, personal growth, would it be fair to say, I mean, just the way that you speak about your CTO partnership, you've done probably a pretty good job of, because you're not technical, and finding the right partner, and you guys seem to connect pretty well. You drop the rope in the sense of letting him, own his space. You trust in him owning the space. The team seems to trust them. Do you think that was a good learning lesson for you from the first time you were too much in control, or not in control?
So that's a really good question, because I deal with this in other departments, like departments of one or whatever it is. But I have no problem delegating if I have the intuitive feeling of comfort that somebody handles it. I never knew that until this thing. So on the other side, like I knew something was always wrong, but I am not technical enough to uncover it. But I would always be digging or pointing it out. 9 times out of 10, I was like, right, like there is something wrong here and there. With our CTO, it was more of, I'll use like try to loosely or vaguely use like a real situation in the very beginning, before there was really a real platform, which was who is still one of our biggest clients and one of our biggest partners, had like a problem with their own system. A huge meltdown of sorts. And we're an outside company, completely outside. I knew in my head how to fix it. Like I just knew, like I knew, oh, we can actually fix this, save them, and like restore this whole system that like disappeared. And I was able to clearly explain it, maybe not clearly, but tell our CTO. And he was like, okay, I get it. And boom, like we fixed everything in like a couple hours, 8 hours or so. Like, we were able to restore everything. And I think that being able to like do it, and again, that like tool, I think that synergy, and then knowing that somebody can see things clear. Sales, for example, I have someone on the sales team who's building out the entire onboarding for future account executives.
Oh, that's great.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I can ask questions and walk away, but I think there is a level of trust. And it's not that I had my hands too much in it before. I would prefer not to, because I think I get neurotic and I'm like, ooh, what about this? What did it? And which kills people's motivation.
Totally.
But I think that it's finding the good people is hard.
Oh yeah, no, one of the so with that, like, what was the kind of the most valuable like personal growth shift that you've made between the two companies now that you've got Tratta at a good place and moving forward? And
the most is that things will take always longer than you want.
Yeah.
Every client, I was like, we've made it. Second client, we've made it. Third client, we've finally made it. Fourth client, I'm exhausted and like dying over here. We've made it. 20 clients, I'm like, okay, yeah, we need 10 more of these. Like,
yeah.
And then so learning patience, but also it's not just learning patience, it's learning where to, I think, put the urgency and where to be patient.
Yeah.
And like, you don't have to do everything at once, but you do have to do some things immediately. Yeah. And so that is like building a feature, taking months to build a feature that nobody uses is one of the most depressing things ever. I think it's happened maybe 1 or 2 times with Tratta. I'm not sure. Or building one that's like too early and knowing 6 months in 6 months nobody's used it. And maybe in a year when it finally gets used, there's that like feeling of validation. But learning how to pick your battles, if you will, is one of the biggest shifts. And it goes back to that, we solve the core problem first. Yeah. Like, we can solve this, and even if people don't jump on to the portal themselves, they can still use this other piece, and we know it's going to have adoption quickly. Yeah. So what we actually did was we built this reporting thing. We plugged all our Revanly clients into it, and they stopped going to Revanly's backend for reporting. Okay. And so we're like, okay, so like there's immediate usage.
Yes.
And so it's like that was the biggest mindset shift is we'll take AI voice thing right now, or AI in general. Yeah. We very infrequently use AI. We only use it to call it like maybe accelerate the team in doing things. Developers might use Cursor or Copilot in GitHub to like help them do things faster. But we don't have like a native AI responsive thing in our system because.
Yeah. Are your customers asking for that?
We've had a few ask for, I think they ask more broadly, how do you use AI? And we just ask them, how do you think we should use it? How would you use it if we had it? And
well, awesome. Because I mean, your industry where you guys are focused is a little, maybe I don't want to say dated or slow to a shift to adopt.
They want to be caught up with everybody. Yeah. But it comes down to the foundational everything first. Yeah. And it's a very interesting industry because everything exists for them, but we cannot adopt all of it at once. Yeah. Because it has to be put in the right place, the right time. So it's actually like a very measured approach. Whereas maybe 10 years ago, even all these new things coming out, whatever, shrug it off. Yeah. But so that's actually part of how we build even products, is we'll have our clients validate the real need. Yeah. And I always break it down into 3 different sections. Like need, it's one, they ask during the sales process, do you have this? Or what about this? Or what about that? And then they ask during the onboarding process a whole new group of questions. Well, we need this.
They get all comfortable, and now they're like, we're partners now. I'm going to tell you all the dirty secrets.
Yes, but it's a whole new one in onboarding. And then they launch. They forget about pre-contract requests. Then they forget about onboarding requests. And then now that they're going, they ask about a different set, which is usually the one that's the most important because it's the one that's impacting day to day. And so it's interesting because we always like, okay, give us like 10 real, or not 10. I don't think we do that, but give us like real world scenarios where you would use that new feature. Yeah. There's a few where I look back and I'm like, oh, whoa, we've been asked about that, but it took the 9th customer who asked to finally explain the actual business case.
Yeah.
Like, and that to me is like, that's another huge learning experience. It's like, what, you just got to ask them why. It can't just be because you've made the request, but like, tell us where this is. Well, we can't put 30% of our business on the platform then. Okay, usually that catches our attention.
Yeah, right. Link it to revenue, and can you roll it out to a whole bunch more customers? And
yes, say it's compliance or revenue, and you basically, that's your trump card. But if they can explain a nuance, that again is a huge learning thing, and not just overall for us and the whole journey.
That's like one of my favorite books is the Levine, the CEO of Waze. He wrote the book Fall in Love with the Problem, Not the Solution. And amazing book. And just what you're saying is just, you've got to sit with your customers. You got to see how they use your product. You got to understand the problems, and you got to get them to explain like how that actually a solution is gonna help them, because you don't want to be one-offing a whole bunch of things for customers that really are one-off. Anyway, so
it's very true. I think that's one of the hardest things about building software, because your earliest customers have the loudest voices, because it's one or two people in a room. And you're going to be influenced by that no matter what. And so you can be, which is a good thing, but then as it grows, you're like, we're gonna have to reverse those 50 things.
Which you don't want. You don't want that what they call the elephant that you're dragging around is your old tech debt.
And it does, and it grows. It never gets smaller.
Yes. Well, we could do that, but we'd have to code around this whole big So how do you now stay motivated and also motivate your team? What are some things that you do as a leader?
So I love that question. That's like a good one, because I think there's lulls in it. Where as a leader, you do set the tone for the culture at what I have been told is up to, I don't know, like anywhere from 20 to 50 people. It starts becoming, department, this and that, but your tone has to reverberate all the way to 5,000 people, really, like from the top all the way down through the other leadership and everything. And so staying motivated as a leader, it's just staying excited, challenging yourself and being very curious, and going back to that, which problem, not just like, should I solve, but which one am I enthusiastic about solving? And do I really, really, really think I can stick out and solve? And also, like, which one's going to have the biggest impact of the business? Which can I set the long-term goal for, and set my sights on and really want to get going. And I can make this passionate case to our team to get them, involved, because there are plenty of times where I have been told by our team that my saying things throws everybody off, because they're just, well, he said this and then this and then this. So which one should we do? And so it's like, which one, let's make the impassioned case to the team and get that one done. So that's the motivation part. Also, personally, right now, it is growing individual teams out is the big one. Something I am more new to. So, you have your sales and your tech team. The technical team has been managed since day one, and I got very well from Tratta, and I've been fortunate for that. Spoiled to an extent. The sales, operations, onboarding, I'm continuing to work on that, and like trying to get the right leadership tweaks in there so that it can be similar. I mean, it's really nice having qualified developers hired, and since I'm not one, I have no idea. And so there's a whole system to it now. Sales, saying, so that's how I'm keeping myself motivated now. So again, it's come down to that challenge. I hate hiring, but I think every single founder has always said that. I don't know anybody who's ever said they love it in the beginning. And so that's like the challenge, is how do I hire the best people who can then hire other people?
You can focus on, not having to feel like you're in the business every day, but you're working on it to grow it, to scale it, the vision. Right.
And that's how I convinced myself to get better at hiring. Is I was like, I can hire people who hire people. Oh, there you go. So now I like hiring.
There you go.
That's my goal. And then the people. So I think I've always heard that, there's a difference between like a startup. Some people thrive in startups and some do not. I think empowering people with enough guidance, but also like accountability where they can manage themselves, and then understanding that you cannot force every single person to do what you thought they were going to do. And you just have to use the best in them and then challenge them on the other things. And that is a very hard thing to do because everyone's different personalities. But I think that if the whole company sees everything always going forward, it keeps people motivated, especially as a smaller team, right? Because everyone has such an outsized role. Like
well, it's hard to hide, right? And
yes,
everybody's counting on everyone else to do what they're needing to do. And then as your team grows, right, then you're right. It shifts from startup mentality to organizational structure and which layers and then departments, but that's part of growing a business. But then it does mean that also means you outgrow people or you need new people, and then you're stoked when you have your teams who can hire great people, and you can be like, great, go make that happen.
Yeah, and you said something that nobody can hide. I mean, even at a startup, you hire people who you can almost tell immediately that there's nothing happening there, and then if that can, which means that everyone else can knows.
Yeah,
everyone knows, and then that turns into like a toxic whole. The word toxic is pretty strong, but it does create like this toxic culture thing. And so it's like you always have to be able to keep the team motivated. You have to get the wrong people off the bus first, and that's always a hard decision. Like no matter what. And I have had outside help talk me through those processes a lot of times where they give me this outside perspective, and then they always caveat with, I don't know anything about your business and I'm not there, but this is how and I'm like, wait, you know what? That's why I'm asking. Perfect. You are devoid of emotions in this scenario, and that's important. But I think that goes into encouraging your team, because when your team starts asking you like, how is X, Y, and Z doing? Because last week you said this, or last week I heard that. And you're like, okay, well, now this is like, starting to pull everybody's bandwidth in the wrong direction. That's another thing. Culture is
incredibly, demoralizing. If you're coming in every day and doing your job and you're having to pick up the pieces and you're seeing other people not being addressed, and then you're bummed because the leadership isn't addressing what you clearly see. So, that whole, hire slowly, fire quickly. I mean, as soon as you kind of have a gut thing, I think you just have to address it.
I do find that finding somebody's talent, like, I mean, you've hired them for a reason, but finding their like talent and giving them that is like incredible. Like we have one person who's amazing with people.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him. I get emails on the side.
Yeah.
We love him. Best person ever. Even conferences that he's not registered to go to, clients reach out to him asking him to go and inviting him to dinner.
That's awesome.
With me at all. Yeah. Like, and so that's great. And then we have another guy who we just hired, very quiet. And I was always like, I know there's something in him.
Yeah.
And so I handed him a project, and a couple days later he came back, and I was like, you did this?
Yeah.
Like,
don't you love that as a leader? Like that's the thing I love most about building teams and working with people is finding people, especially the ones who people are like, I've gone into a couple companies or consulting things where it's like, oh, you got to fire that person day one. And then you meet with them and you talk to them and they're just like, they've been beat down or just, haven't been heard. And you just flip the switch and they become the best version of themselves. Yes. I love that.
Yeah. It's like you want everyone to just do everything just because it has to be done, but it doesn't always happen. But just like finding that right thing, like I will say, it was like the most shocking thing. Like I was like, there's something here where this person is brilliant. I know it. I am completely missing whatever it is, and I may not be the right manager to bring it out.
Yeah.
And so actually my CTO and I were, he understood him. He talked to him and he's like, let me handle this part. And and he just gave him a project and he's like, okay, I'll do this too. And I'm just like, okay, so it's me who's not qualified to manage them, but as a team, we can absolutely, and they are really good at what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those
and
things
they feel prideful and they have passion and they're empowered to do their job. Yeah. It's just changes everything. So,
yes. And that keeps people motivated, especially because it's things that other people haven't done, but they also hope can get done.
Yeah, no, amazing. Okay, last question for you. So you're sitting down with a young you or a person who's talking to you about wanting to start their own thing. What's your kind of go-to couple words of wisdom that you would want that person to be really clear on before they make that first step or leap or next part of their journey?
So if someone was sitting down with me asking about being an entrepreneur,
Yeah,
or,
like, I'm going to start my own business. Can you give me some advice?
so but you must believe in yourself. Like
Okay.
at the end of the day, no matter what the idea is, even if you have a business partner, even if like you have all the advisors, even if you have like early clients, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
it all comes back to you, because if the business shrinks and everything disappears, all you have left is you. And so from the very get-go, you better believe that your vision is going to carry you through all the highs and all the lows. And you will probably run into a lot more lows than you ever want to in the beginning. And if you don't, great. Then the ones later will hurt a little bit more, but at least you'll be somewhere. And it's just having confidence in yourself. It doesn't mean knowing what's going to happen, but just being confident and being able to say, like, I am going to get there, wherever that is, and do it. And just do it. Like, do not wait, because time doesn't wait. Nothing is going to wait at all. You are never going to get like yesterday back. It's like, and so like you can either do it. And I'm a procrastinator when it comes to a lot. Like, I like to percolate a lot of ideas in my head. I think I kind of move slow in this. But like originally, when it was just me, I remember waking up early in the morning, going to bed at 1 a.m., waking up early in the morning. Nobody has to do that. I was doing a lot. I wasn't necessarily smart about it, but the only thing I had going through is like the confidence that like I was like, I am somehow going to make something work. And that's it. Like just that. Like be an idiot and just just do it.
No, but I think that's what I'm hearing for, it's like, you're not going to have all the answers. If you try to make it perfect, it's going to be messy. You just have to, you have to take that first step and deal with what comes, and you're going to have to, get up.
Even the
put a
most
lot of
perfect
hours
thing changes. Like, everything changes, so you redo, the interior of your house, how you've always wanted to do it. And like a month later, someone's like, you know what, I'm going to move the couch. Like you just got to roll with it and go. I'm like looking around my yard thinking, you know what? I'm really proud of this, but my wife is like, we should add another bush right there. And I'm like,
oh yeah, no, it always change is inevitable, right? It is always inevitable. Something is going to happen. So last question for you, man. Biggest myth of being a founder?
That the biggest myth. I thought about this one quite a bit. And I didn't even have an answer until like so the biggest myth is, I think it's the lies that you tell yourself along the way. Like, I don't know if that's like the myth of it, but like I think what it's like I think it's, as a founder, you go back to that confidence thing, or everything is like A or B or whatever. And just looking back, I don't know, like maybe the biggest myth is, so you watch something like this, or you watch like, just like any podcast or YouTube video, anything. And then like, wow, they're so confident. They must've known what they were doing when they started this and that. No way. Nobody really knew, because everything was happening. But when hindsight's 2020, so you can have a lot of confidence saying, I'm glad like we did this 2 things and now we're successful. But I think that the biggest myth is that even the most reputable, respectable founders are as confident as people think they are. I do think that everybody has doubt.
Oh, yes. God,
I'm
glad you said it, because I know I've felt that too. It's like, doubt, imposter syndrome, or and a lot of this is like, you got to fake it till you make it.
So, like at the very beginning, everything is, you're selling a dream. Before you actually sell anything tangible. And if you can't, like that whole like thing, like, I mean, when the Tesla Roadster came out a long time ago, like the original 2-seat sports car, I don't think anybody knew it was going to be where it is today. at all. And there it is. But of course, now all we see is what it is. And I do remember walking past a Tesla dealership and seeing the old Roadster in there when they probably had 2 dealerships in the world, and thinking like, oh, that's a cool car. And then like they didn't make anything for years. Yeah, but now you don't think of those things. I do think that is the biggest myth, is that for some reason you look at these really HubSpot, Shopify, you look at these companies and you think, wow, these guys just knew what was going on, but they had they didn't know it was going to get there.
No, you forget about the journey and the beginning, and it becomes easier to talk about just the success part and not the struggle. So
yes, everything's in baby steps, and the journey is definitely hard, but it's also the most fun part, because if it's not a journey, then you have nothing to do.
Right. I like that. Well, look, Josh, thank you so much for the time, man. This has been awesome. Where can people connect with you if they want to learn more about Tratta, or just
we could put my email down in a comment somewhere. I'm okay with that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm always open, especially if anybody's motivated to like reach out and like throw a question at me. I'm industry agnostic.
Okay, cool. I love that. All right. Well, thank you, Josh. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.